Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Glad to be here.
Today we're going to be talking all about motorcycle safety,
Okay.
specifically,
Yeah.
riding at night.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be looking at an article
Oh.
called Night Riding Safety Tips, How to Stay Visible and Alert,
Okay.
written by K.R. Andre, published just today, December 4th, 2024.
All right.
Um, there's something really cool about riding at night.
Oh, yeah.
The roads are quieter, the air is cooler,
For sure.
but obviously we have that reduced visibility,
Right.
which really ups the challenge and the risk.
Yeah.
So we're going to break down all the essential tips to make your night rides safer
Okay.
and hopefully even more enjoyable.
Sounds good.
And trust me, some of this stuff might surprise you.
Oh.
Did you know that even your gloves can play a huge role in being seen at night?
It's true.
Yeah.
This article really emphasizes the importance of visibility,
Okay.
and that starts with something we might take for granted,
What's that?
our bike's lights.
Okay, so we all know we need to turn our headlights on,
Right.
but this article goes way beyond that.
Oh, wow.
It talks about aiming them correctly, so we're not blinding oncoming traffic,
Makes sense.
and even recommends upgrading to LEDs.
LEDs are definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
They're not just brighter.
Okay.
We're talking a difference of sometimes thousands of lumens
Wow.
compared to standard halogen bulbs.
Oh, wow.
So this means you're not just seeing the road better,
Right.
you're more visible to other vehicles,
Mhm.
which is crucial at night.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's not forget their lifespan.
Oh, yeah.
LEDs can last for years,
Really?
meaning fewer bulb changes,
Right.
less chance of being caught with a burnt-out headlight in the middle of nowhere.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I've actually been meaning to make this switch myself.
Mm.
Imagine you're on a dark back road,
Yeah.
almost invisible to oncoming cars,
Right?
and suddenly a car swerves at the last second
Oh, God.
because they barely saw you. Proper lighting can literally be the difference between a close call
Mm-hmm.
and a serious accident.
Scary.
Yeah. And on that note,
Okay.
the article also emphasizes the importance of always carrying spare bulbs,
That's smart.
especially on those longer rides.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of visibility,
Okay, what's that?
your gear.
Gear. Okay.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We all like to look cool on our bikes.
Oh, for sure.
And black gear definitely has that
Mm.
bad biker appeal.
Yeah.
But at night,
Yeah.
it can make you practically invisible. Yeah, I've been guilty of that myself.
Mm-hmm.
I love my black leather jacket,
Sure.
but I was starting to rethink it for night rides.
Right.
Safety has to come first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article really drives that point home.
Okay.
It strongly recommends incorporating bright colors and reflective panels
Mm-hmm.
into your riding gear.
Right.
And it's not just jackets and helmets.
Oh.
You can add reflective tape to your bike itself.
Oh, wow.
Even your boots.
Now, that's an idea I hadn't considered.
Mm.
What about gloves?
That's where this article gets really interesting.
Okay.
It recommends gloves with reflective strips,
Right.
which makes your hand signals so much more visible at night.
Right.
Such a simple thing,
Right.
but can make a huge difference
Yeah.
in communicating your intentions to other drivers.
That makes me think about how our perception changes at night.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It's not just about seeing less.
right.
It's about our reaction times being slower, too.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And the article delves into that.
Okay.
Specifically, how our depth perception and
Mm.
reaction times
Yeah.
naturally decrease in low light conditions.
Right.
This isn't about being a less skilled rider.
Right.
It's literally our biology at work.
Wow.
So reducing your speed
Okay.
and increasing your following distance at night
Mm-hmm.
isn't about being slow.
Gotcha.
It's about giving yourself that extra time and space to react if
Yeah.
something unexpected happens.
Yeah. It's like when you're driving in fog.
Mm-hmm.
You instinctively slow down.
Right.
It's the same concept.
Totally.
You need more time to process that information.
Yeah.
Your eyes are sending to your brain,
Right.
and that takes even longer at night.
Exactly. We have to be more cautious with our speed
Okay.
because braking distances are longer in the dark.
Hmm.
Even with good headlights, you're
Mhm.
not going to see an obstacle as far away as
Yeah.
you would during the day.
Yeah.
And it takes longer for our brains to process the information
Mm-hmm.
and react accordingly.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how night riding requires a whole different level of awareness.
And another factor that can significantly impact that awareness is fatigue.
Oh, right.
We all know that long night rides can be incredibly tempting,
Yeah.
but drowsiness can be a serious danger,
Right.
especially when combined with reduced visibility.
Yeah. I've definitely experienced that, like, nodding off feeling.
Yeah.
On those late night drives.
Yeah,
It's scary how quickly fatigue can set in.
for sure.
And on a motorcycle, the stakes are even higher.
Exactly. And the article doesn't just say
Yeah.
get enough sleep before you ride. It
Yeah.
goes deeper,
Oh, okay.
suggesting we learn to recognize the signs of fatigue
Mm-hmm.
during the ride.
Okay.
Things like difficulty focusing,
Right.
yawning a lot,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
that heavy eyelid feeling.
So basically, we need to be proactive,
Yeah.
not just about preventing fatigue,
All right.
but recognizing it when it starts creeping in.
Precisely.
Okay.
The article recommends planning rest stops into your route,
Mm-hmm.
especially for those longer night rides.
Makes sense.
And here's an interesting tip.
Okay.
Use your helmet communication system
Right.
to listen to engaging audio.
Oh, like a podcast.
Yeah, like a podcast or an audiobook
Right.
to help keep your mind alert.
It's like having a virtual riding buddy
I love that analogy.
to keep you company and keep your brain engaged.
It's all about staying mentally stimulated.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears
Okay.
and talk about some of the unique hazards that we encounter specifically when riding at night.
Okay.
Things that we might not even think about during the day
Right.
can become serious dangers after dark.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like potholes.
Yeah. Potholes that are easy to spot in daylight
Right.
suddenly become hidden traps.
Exactly.
And unlit road construction seems to appear out of nowhere.
It's like the road transforms at night.
And let's not forget about wildlife.
Oh, right.
Animals tend to be more active at night,
Yeah.
and with their dark coats,
Mm-hmm.
they can be incredibly difficult to spot against
Oh.
the dark backdrop of the road.
Oh, that reminds me of a time I was riding on this back road
Oh, yeah.
at dusk,
Mm-hmm.
and a deer just appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, gosh.
It was such a close call.
That's a perfect example of how quickly things can happen at night.
Right.
And while we can't always predict the movements of wildlife, being extra cautious and scanning the sides of the road
Right.
can definitely help.
Speaking of unpredictable,
Yeah.
this article also touches upon
Okay.
kind of a sensitive but important topic:
What's that?
impaired drivers.
Ah, okay.
It points out that nighttime often sees an increase in drivers
Yeah.
who are tired
Mhm.
or under the influence,
Right.
which obviously
Yeah.
makes their behavior less predictable
For sure.
and increases the risk for everyone on the road.
It's a sobering reminder to be extra vigilant,
Yeah,
especially at night,
right.
and that vigilance extends to our own behavior as well.
Okay.
The article emphasizes the psychological aspect of night riding, reminding us that mental preparedness is
Mhm.
just as crucial as physical preparedness.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about having the right gear and equipment.
Yeah.
It's about having the right mindset, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it this way.
Mm.
Night riding requires a different kind of awareness, heightened sense of caution.
Okay.
We need to be more deliberate in our actions,
Right.
more focused on anticipating potential hazards.
So how do we translate that respect for the night
Mm-hmm.
into practical actions?
Yeah,
What are some things we can do
right.
to make sure we're mentally prepared for a night ride?
The article doesn't offer a specific checklist,
Okay.
but it does highlight the importance of self-awareness.
Okay.
Before you even start your engine,
Mm-hmm.
take a moment to check in with yourself.
Right.
Are you tired,
Mm-hmm.
stressed,
Yeah.
distracted?
It's like doing a pre-ride inspection,
That's a great way to put it.
but for your mind instead of your bike.
And if you're not feeling 100%,
Yeah.
it's perfectly okay to postpone the ride.
Right.
There's no shame in prioritizing your safety.
I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the excitement
Oh, for sure.
of riding,
Yeah.
especially when you've been looking forward to it all day.
Totally. But you're right.
Yeah. Recognizing when you're not in the right headspace
Mm-hmm.
to ride safely,
Mm-hmm.
that's a sign of a mature and responsible rider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
here's another mental trap we need to watch out for,
that?
especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
Overconfidence.
Right.
It's easy to get swept up in the thrill of riding under the stars
Oh, yeah.
with the open road ahead of you.
For sure.
But that's when it's most important to stay grounded.
Right. Yeah.
And remember that the risks are still very real.
Especially when the roads are empty
Yeah.
and you feel like you have the whole world to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's tempting to push the limits a little.
Right.
But that's when we need to be extra careful.
Right. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The article cautions us to not let that sense of freedom and
Yeah.
confidence
Mhm.
morph into complacency.
Yeah.
Night riding demands our respect and attention,
Right.
no matter how experienced we are.
Okay.
So how do we strike that balance between embracing the joy of night writing and staying mindful of the dangers.
It sounds like it's all about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
between pushing ourselves and knowing our limits.
Right.
But how do we practically do that?
Well, one strategy the article suggests
Okay.
is to consciously adjust our writing style at night.
Okay, so
Writing a bit slower,
mm-hmm.
being extra cautious when approaching corners or intersections,
Right.
and constantly scanning our surroundings
Yeah.
for potential hazards.
It's almost like we need to turn up the volume
Yeah.
on all of our senses.
Yeah.
Right? We have to be
Yeah.
extra alert to compensate for that reduced visibility.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And, experience plays a big role here.
Oh, yeah.
The more you write at night,
Right.
the better you become at anticipating potential problems and reacting accordingly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like anything else, the more you practice,
Mm-hmm.
the more instinctive it becomes.
Right.
But even with experience,
Yeah.
it's easy to fall into bad habits. Do you have any, mental tricks
No, yeah.
that you use to stay sharp when you're writing at night?
Absolutely. One technique I find helpful
Right.
is to actually visualize potential hazards
Mhm.
before they arise.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Imagine a deer darting across the road,
Oh, gosh.
a car pulling out from a hidden driveway,
Right.
or even just a patch of gravel
Yeah.
in the middle of a turn.
That's almost like mental rehearsal
Exactly.
of those unexpected moments.
By playing out those scenarios in your mind, we're
Right.
priming your brain to react more quickly.
Okay.
And effectively, if they actually happen,
Makes sense.
it's a way to stay one step ahead.
That's such a great tip.
Mm.
I'm definitely going to try that.
Cool.
Now, before we move on, you mentioned mental fatigue earlier.
Yeah.
What are some ways we can combat that? Besides the obvious,
Right.
get enough sleep advice.
Well, just like we plan for physical rest stops,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be mindful of mental fatigue, too.
Okay.
Taking breaks to stretch, get some fresh air,
Yeah.
or even just close our eyes for a few minutes
Right.
can make a huge difference.
Okay.
And staying hydrated is crucial.
Yeah.
Dehydration can really amplify fatigue.
Yeah, for sure.
Ultimately, we need to listen to our bodies and our minds.
Right.
If you start to feel drowsy
Yeah.
or your concentration is waning, it's time to pull over and rest.
Right.
No ride is worth risking our safety.
Well said.
Thanks.
Now, this article does a great job of covering the basics
Yeah,
of night riding safety.
right.
But it also dives into something really interesting,
Oh, what's that?
the role of technology.
Oh, cool.
And we're not just talking about your standard headlights and taillights.
Right, you're right.
Go ahead.
The world of motorcycle tech is evolving rapidly,
Mm.
and there are some incredible innovations.
Okay.
Specifically designed to make night riding safer and more enjoyable.
Awesome.
One of the most exciting developments
Wow.
is in the area of lighting.
Lighting. Okay.
Remember those LED headlights we discussed?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're really just the beginning.
Oh, do tell. I'm all ears. What else is out there?
Well, imagine headlights
Okay.
that aren't static,
Right.
but actually adapt to your movements.
Really?
Adaptive headlights are becoming increasingly common on motorcycles.
Wow.
And they're a real game changer for night riding.
Adaptive headlights.
Yeah.
What are those exactly?
Essentially, they're headlights that turn with your handlebars,
Wow. Okay.
illuminating the path ahead
Mm-hmm.
instead of just shining straight ahead.
Right.
So as you lean into a turn,
Okay.
the headlights swivel,
Wow.
giving you much better visibility around corners
Okay.
and reducing the risk of encountering hidden hazards.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
It's like having your own personal spotlight
exactly.
that follows your every move.
And there's even more cutting-edge tech on the horizon.
really?
Some manufacturers are experimenting with laser headlights.
Lasers on a motorcycle. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know.
How do they even work?
They use a highly focused beam of laser light
Okay.
to illuminate objects much farther down the road,
Right.
giving you more time to react to potential hazards.
That's crazy.
It's still early days for this technology,
Yeah.
but it has the potential to revolutionize nighttime visibility for motorcyclists.
That's mind-blowing. It's
Yeah.
like having night vision
Yeah,
for your motorcycle.
pretty much.
But, even with all the amazing advancements in lighting,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's the simple things that make a big difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like having a GPS that doesn't blind you at night.
You're so right. I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Fumbling with my phone's brightness settings,
Right.
trying to make out the map without losing my night vision.
Yeah.
It's not exactly ideal for safe riding.
Thankfully,
Yeah,
GPS devices with night mode are becoming more common.
right.
They automatically adjust
Yeah.
to a dimmer red-tinted display that's
Mhm.
easier on the eyes.
Right?
and doesn't interfere with your night vision.
It's such a simple feature, but it makes a huge difference in
Yeah.
terms of comfort and safety.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of staying connected,
Yeah.
we can't forget about helmet communication systems.
Yay.
They're not just for chatting with your riding buddies anymore.
Totally.
They can be a real lifeline in case of an emergency.
That's true. Knowing you can call for help
Right.
or stay in contact with loved ones
Mm-hmm.
if you encounter a problem.
Yeah.
Especially when you're riding alone at night.
Right.
That's a huge peace of mind.
for sure.
And the technology is getting better all the time.
Yeah.
Some systems now offer voice-activated controls,
Really?
noise
know.
cancellation,
Okay.
and even integration with music streaming services.
So you can listen to your favorite tunes while cruising under the stars.
Exactly.
It's like having a personalized soundtrack for your night ride.
And let's not forget about those everyday tech essentials
Oh, right.
that can enhance our safety and comfort. Phone chargers or power banks
Right.
to keep our devices juiced up,
Mm-hmm.
weather apps to check for changing conditions,
Okay.
and even traffic apps
Yeah.
to help us avoid congested areas.
It's amazing how technology is evolving
I know, it's pretty cool.
to make night riding safer and more enjoyable.
Yeah,
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of motorcycle tech.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
It's exciting to think about what the future holds.
for sure.
But even with all these amazing advancements,
Right.
we need to remember that the most important safety tool
Okay.
is still the one between our ears.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Technology can enhance our abilities,
Right.
but it can never replace good judgment,
Mm-hmm.
responsible riding habits,
Yeah,
and a healthy respect for the road,
for sure.
especially at night.
Oh, said.
As we wrap up this deep dive into night riding safety,
Yeah.
I think the takeaway is clear.
What's that?
Embrace the thrill, respect the night,
Mm-hmm.
and equip yourself with the knowledge and tools
Right.
to make every ride a safe and memorable one.
Ride safe, ride smart, and keep those headlights shining bright.
Until next time on The Deep Dive.